just after 3 this morning. I really couldn't sleep because I know that you sent me a lot of emails, and I checked. It was related to that formal test that was that was not showing that. Although I know that you guys all took it, I know because I marked the assignments after you, or the test after you wrote it, and I couldn't find it. I was in absolute. No, I tell you what, I grew older 5 years just in the last 5 hours, and then we sorted it out with our technical people this morning. So it was as I said to you, somewhere on Canvas it was just not showing. But no, it's all that has been sorted. But again, as I said at the start of the semester, there are going to be some growing pains, but we're going to grow through the pains together. You report problems that you have, and we actually try and fix it. If we don't fix it, we will make a plan, but we'll get the issue sorted out. So for those of you who were anxious, no need to be anxious, because yeah, that issue has been resolved, not just to my relief, but I think to yours as well. Yes, any other questions? Well, I've set in on Monday how I see the next 2 weeks roll out is that we'll have class. We'll do revision on chapter 6 products. We probably won't start with distribution today, chapter 7. We'll continue and do chapter 8, pricing. On pricing we'll do on Friday. Monday next week, the revision will revert to those chapters on marketing communication and marketing services. I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to finish that on Monday, and then there won't be class on Wednesday because of the public holiday, it being Youth Day. On Friday, we're going to do a wrap-up. I'm going to start preparing you for the exam, and then also I'll post an announcement, because during your study week, I would love us to also have a session again. Once you have started preparing yourself and you have issues that you battle with, it's going to be, no work is going to be presented to you. It's a straightforward question answer. Share your problems. We'll chat and we'll record it, because some of the problems might be generic problems that not just you are battling with, but the rest of the students as well. And then obviously feedback on your assignments and your tests in that regard as well, to help you prepare for the exam, because we cannot provide you with old exam papers. We clarified that on Monday, that the policy, the company policy states that unfortunately at this stage we're not permitted to hand out any exams. I can still prepare you the best I can for this one by coaching you in how to interpret questions and how questions are structured, so you can understand it. And that will be the main purpose of an exercise like that for me. Right. Any questions at this point in particular before we resume with chapter 6? No questions? How's your day been going so far? Typical Wednesday, or has it been a deurmekaar, upside down Wednesday like it has been on this side? No questions. Thanks, Caitlin. Anybody else? No issues?
No, sir, we're fine.
Yeah, somebody said to me this morning as well, you just need a good night's rest. I said, you know what, I'll sleep when I'm dead, because there's still too much to do. So, but we get it done. We only do it at the rate that we are capable of doing it, but we all eventually get it done. You only know what you're capable of doing when you're challenged. I believe that you grow. Usually when you're challenged, you grow much quicker than in any other situation. Right. I'm not sure what you can remember about products and decisions that we take related to products. We all know, however, that products is one of the 4 Ps in the marketing mix. it is one of the most important components of the marketing mix, if it is not the most important one. Why do you think I would say it's probably the most important component of the marketing mix? Why is product? Why is the product out of the 4 Ps the one that's most important? Or do you think it's not the most important? One of the others is more important? Would love to hear your ideas. Is product the most important P of the 4 Ps in the marketing mix? That's a simple yes or no. Yes.
I think it is, because the product is the one thing that you're working with the most, sir.
Really, you're quite right. I mean, if let's just look at the other 3 Ps of the marketing mix: promotion, place, and price. How many of these other 3 will work if we do not have a product?
It can't work, sir.
Exactly. Without a product, what are you going to put a price on if you don't have a product? What are you pricing? What are you promoting? What are you distributing if you do not have a product? So product is the most important one, because it brings all the other together. It creates the purpose of the other. Because if we do have a product, yes, we can attend to all the other 3. We, however, want to attend to the other 3 or to all 4 Ps of the marketing mix better than our competitors. And this is a particular concept that is very easy to understand if we just break it down. And you can take that definition that we have of competitive advantage on the screen. And it quite simply has 2 different, 2 important aspects to it. You have a competitive advantage. In other words, you are doing better than your competitor or competitors because you are offering exactly the same as they are offering. You're just asking a lower price. Or you are offering more features and benefits with your product than a competitor. Compare a vehicle that is a basic standard vehicle, for instance. The one has extras like air conditioning and tow bars and mag wheels and stuff like that on. They are going to charge a bit more, but they give you more as well. Even better if you charge exactly the same as your competitors, but you're offering more features and benefits. So there are 2 important things about a competitive advantage. Competitive advantage is not, and I've seen this in your tests, competitive advantage is not just doing things better than your competitors. Yes, in essence, that's what it boils down to. But how and why are you doing it better than your competitors? You are doing better than your competitors because you are offering the same product cheaper, or you're offering more features and benefits. And therefore, the value of your product in the eyes of the consumer is so much higher. Is everybody clear with that? Because it is an important distinction to make. Right. Oops, lazy. That was a bit quick. Can you still remember the 4 types of market structures? I think it's also, I'm not sure if it was with the certificate students or with the BCom students. Generally, I think there's sometimes confusion as to what is the market structure. The market structure as to what are we using as basis for segmentation. That's obvious. That often is confused. If you can remember from what we did on Monday, I think that if you understand that the market structure refers to the type of control businesses have in a market. Monopoly, they're on their own. There's nobody else. There's no competition. No competition. Remember, we're still dealing with competition in the market. That's why we started off with a competitive advantage. You're still in competition because, or are we still busy with competition as a subject? And therefore, we're looking at the 4 different types of structures in a business or in a market that directly relate to the amount of competition there is in a particular industry. If there's no competitors in the industry, you have the monopoly. You can determine what price you want to charge, and we are experiencing it again now at the moment, and we will again from 10 o'clock this morning. Eskom says we do not have the capacity to address the needs of the demands of electricity in the country at the moment, so we're going to go to stage 2 from 10 o'clock this morning till 10 o'clock on Sunday evening. Nobody can argue. There's no competitors. They have the monopoly. Perfect competition refers to lots of suppliers and lots of buyers as well. So prices, you go for where the best price is offered. There's a lot of people offering products. There's also a lot of buyers who want to buy that particular product. And I think the example I used in the textbook referred to specifically the agricultural industry, where there's a lot of farmers who farm with the same products, but there are also a lot of businesses buying those products who needed to buy directly from them, or sometimes through a particular structure in an intermediary structure that was set up within the industry. Yeah, prices. Yes, for your question.
Sir, the monopoly is it only companies that are owned by the government?
It's not just parastatals. In any industry, they can. When Microsoft came out the first time, they had a monopoly in the market. There was no competition. They were the only ones supplying the PCs and the software. And then obviously people caught on, and now it's a very competitive market. You would probably see the computer industry as a oligopoly. In other words, there are 2 or 3 very strong, HP for instance, and Microsoft and Apple, very strong, 2 or 3 very strong competitors who basically make up. There's a lot of other competitors as well, but this particular group of businesses offering the similar packages and services and products, they take up a very high percentage of the market share. Like the example that we have of Vodacom and MTN and Cell C, collectively the 3 of them control 91% of the market in that particular industry. Okay, so a monopoly does not just refer to government-owned businesses, no.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sure, no problem at all. I've explained oligopoly to you now as well. Monopolistic competition is where you'll see Markham's, Edgar's, Machini, all of these, they all offer similar ranges of products, and there's very little difference between them. You can't, for instance, what this does is that where the competition comes in is that if you now, for instance, offer a alternative, you can't buy food from Edgar's. And that's where Woolies comes in with their food section. You can either separately offer it as Woolies Foods, or it could be in your main centers that there's a food section as well, where they are actually still competing as a clothing retailer with Edgar's and Markham's and Fashini and Cape Union, Mart and those. Similar products that you can buy at all of those. They're all in competition, and the difference between them is not very visible, so to speak. Right. What is a product? It's basically anything that's tangible, that you can touch, you can taste, you can feel. You can use your senses to evaluate the product or to evaluate the item, and that you are prepared to give up something that is valuable to you, in most cases money, in exchange for that particular item that will satisfy your needs. Okay, that's pretty much what the product is. I don't think we have to go into too much detail to understand it. And I think we do know that because product is so important, I think we all have an idea of what a product means. It's usually, if you're unsure, it means that it's something that you can access through your senses. In other words, and most importantly, is the tangibility, the fact that you can actually touch it and pick it up. It's a can of cool drink. It's something that you can hold in your hand. Right. Now, sometimes products reach the end of the road, and sometimes there are new opportunities that pop up in the market. There are products that successfully change over time to satisfy, and sometimes are forced to change because of the competitors' products that they put into the market. Businesses must therefore decide, A, to modify an existing product. We'll see later on in the chapter when we do the life cycle of a product. You get to that maturity stage where your sales are sort of flatlining. You're still getting good sales, but there's no upward curve in your sales. That's usually indication that it's reached a maturity level in your product life cycle. And one or two things need to happen. You're either going to, if the sales start declining, you can either modify the product, add new features, or bring in a revamped version of it, or you can actually decide to completely stop producing that product, which is the final one on the screen. You scrap the product completely, or you can add a new product. That often happens. People's needs change over time. Many products that we are going to use 5 years from now, we don't even at the moment know about. Once it happens, and once the products are there, we realize that we actually have a need for it. Now, the clever researchers also stay at one step ahead, and they anticipate what customers are looking for. And they're adding products. Remember, I said when we had the session in class, I showed you the cell phone and the cover to the cell phone, all the accessories that come with it. The main product that we had initially is with what will sell, but because of that product, there's a few other things that has developed as well. You can have a cell phone without a cover or a screen cover, but it's become an accessory that, as a result of the product, the cell phone in this case, being developed, there is alternative options now of products that have entered the market as well to complement the main product, or the generic product as we refer to. Now, on the screen you'll see the different product levels. It is important to know the different product levels. It's important to distinguish between the levels. The next 2 or 3 slides in detail look at each of these levels. But in general, basically, the core level refers to the main, it refers to the need that will be satisfied by the product. And therefore, it's the core. What are the benefits you're going to get from buying that product? Okay? What need is satisfied by that product? Your generic product refers to what the product must actually have to function the way it was intended. Okay? What's its name? A kettle must function as a kettle. Kettle is not used for any other reason but to boil water. It must perform that essential function. If you want to toast, if you want to make toasted sandwiches, you're not going to buy a kettle because it won't be able to fulfill that function. You will buy a toaster. Okay, so that's the generic product. It's what the product has that's essential to make it actually work and fulfill the function that it was designed for. Your expected product is what the customer expects the product to have. If you have a cell phone, the cell phone must have what? Nowadays, the expectations of customers when it comes to buying a cell phone or selecting a cell phone on a package, it must have good sound quality, it must have a good battery life, it must have at least one camera. So they basically refer to the characteristics that the customer expects the product to have. Okay. It's when you're buying a kettle, you sort of expect the kettle to have a lid, okay, so the water don't spill out, and you expect it to have a plug that you can actually connect to the wall for it to operate. It's quite simple. So at the end of going through all these levels, I'm going to ask you to think of an example for me, and then we walk through this different levels at the hand of that particular example. Okay. The augmented product refers to where you are now different, those extras that you're adding, where people can say, all right, there are 5 kettles on the shelf. What makes the one different than the other? Oh, that one, it's got a longer cord, for instance. Different range of shapes and colors, for instance. If you want your kitchen to be have a color coordinated kitchen, you can actually select different colors to suit your color scheme. Those are all benefits that differentiate you from your competitors. And then the final one is obviously the potential product. Where can we develop this product to fulfill not just this function, but additional functions maybe as well? In other words, what does the future of this product look like? Where can we go? Or are we stuck? Okay, let's give ourselves opportunity to unbundle this at the hand of an example. Anybody select any products, and then we take and then we break the product down according to the product levels. Could be a car, could be I don't know. I mean, it's up to you guys. I think we did the car previously. Let's not do a car again. Pick a product that we can actually use as an example to break down and explain to you at the hand of an example what the 5 product levels are. Anybody pick a product? Any product. Any product. You probably know more about the product. It's something that you can relate to, because if it's something that you can relate to, it will be much easier it's much easier for us to understand things. I'm prepared to do more than one different product if you still have problems understanding the different levels. Any product, please, anybody? The Xbox. Thanks, Lebo. Right. Let's look at the 5 different products of the Xbox. What would you say is the core benefit of the Xbox? I want to know if you can understand what the different levels mean. What is the core benefit of the Xbox? In other words, what does the Xbox do? What benefit would you experience from having an Xbox? It provides you entertainment. Thank you very much. It provides you with entertainment. You can actually entertain friends. You can entertain yourself. More than one player can use it. It could be just you. It provides you entertainment. It becomes very addictive, I have to admit. I was never on Xbox, but from very early on, my children were on PlayStation, obviously. Right, so the Xbox, the core benefit is that it provides you with entertainment. Now, what is the generic product level of the Xbox? What does the Xbox need to have to function? Yeah, people. Core benefit we know is that it provides you entertainment. The generic component refers to what the Xbox must have to function and fulfill that benefit of entertainment. I'm not going to help you with this one. It needs the hardware. It needs the software. Yes, anything else? Electricity. Thanks, Lebo. I mean, right. Does the electricity come with the Xbox? In other words, is it part of what makes the Xbox function? I know the Xbox won't work if there's no electricity, but the electricity itself is not part of the product. It's a separate product that's needed to be able to use the Xbox. But the electricity component itself, it needs some kind of core to connect it to electricity. That would be a functional component of an Xbox. Right. What's the next thing? What do you expect from an Xbox? We're on level 3 now. What do you expect from the Xbox? What do you expect to be part of the product? Yep, good graphics. Yes, you expect it. Yep, for sure. 4K, good. Right, we're getting the hang of this. Now, is it visually appealing? Goes hand in hand with the graphics. Yep. Now we get to the level where most of our efforts go in, because we can add more features that will make the Xbox better than those games that offer competition to us. Where is the Xbox different to the other competitors in this entertainment segment of the industry? What makes it different? Why would you choose the Xbox instead of something else? Yep, thank you very much. Where do you think this can go? Let's go to the potential product, the 5th level. Where can the Xbox go? What can they improve? What can happen in future? What would you like to see happen with the Xbox that will make you and keep you a loyal supporter that wants you to buy the upgrade? Where can this product go? Come, you're Gen Zs. You need to. I don't know what your needs are. You know what your needs are. Okay, in which way do you want it customized? Right? You want it to make popcorn for you as well, so you have something to chow on while you're playing. Is that is that what you're looking for when you're going to the shop and you're considering to purchase one of these entertainment products? Yep, you can definitely correct there. PlayStation's already taken that trend. So it's again, people, where a lot of research is done with any product. Because as we said right at the start, yes, like that. I like that. You must share these things with the manufacturers, because then we know that we'll find out if they actually listen to you. Or maybe they have done already. Maybe they are busy doing it. People, I think, yes, it's important for us to remember that product, because the product is very important. That is the tool that is going to satisfy. That's the item that's going to satisfy the customer's need. Yes, if it's available in many stores, yes, if it's priced correctly, it's fantastic. However, the one aspect that people get the greatest benefit from is the actual product itself. So a lot of research needs to go into that from a business point of view to determine what the customer really wants, and then pay attention to it, because that will give us an idea of where on our augmented product level level 4 we can add extra features that will make our product better than our competitors, because that's what you're trying to achieve when you design a new product and try and satisfy the needs of a customer. Right, we can classify, and here again, people, from evidence that I've picked up in marking your tests, some people confuse the product levels with the product classification. Okay, classification refer to convenient products, shopping products, specialty products, and unsought products. Let's quickly look at each of these separately. What is a convenience product? It's a product that you buy on a regular basis. It's a very low-cost item. You don't really have to do a lot of research. It's things that almost as we refer to as become habitual. It's part of your routine. You buy it because you need it. It's more consumable goods, things that you have to replace on a daily basis or a weekly basis. Eggs, milk, bread, those kind of things. Then we have shopping products. Shopping products, they are, some of them obviously can be convenient products as well, but shopping products refer to those products that you need, but is more durable, and you're not going to replace them every week. You might even replace them every 5 years, for instance, like a fridge or a bed or furniture for your lounge or a television. So you'll put a bit more effort into doing some research before you buy these products, which you're not going to do with the convenience products. Specialty products is on the next level. That is where a lot of research goes in from the buyer side, because it's expensive items. We're talking about Lamborghinis and Porsches and very expensive jewelry, for instance. You're not going to buy them on a regular basis, and also you are very specific, and that's why it's called specialty products. You're very specific in what you want. You're not going to compromise. If it's not available in the color and in the design that you want, you're not going to buy it. You're going to continue with your search until you get something that meets your criteria. You are not going to compromise on your criteria, and that's the specialty products, but predominantly also very expensive. And then finally, our fourth product classification is our unsought products. It's something that happens and that we don't need and not necessarily going to consider to buy unless a marketing campaign drives it, and we actually sometimes don't really need it. Or it's something that we need, but not now. We might need it in future, like a funeral policy, for instance, or a coffin to get buried in. You're not going to buy it now and keep it in your garage for 10, 30, 40 years. It's something that you need to have. It's like insurance. It's like a medical. You don't necessarily want to have it, but you almost need to have it. Okay, so it's something that you that you're almost reluctant to pay for, but you also know that it's important to have it. Okay. Right, let's go to our different, okay. We sort of discussed this, how value is added, and as I said to you, the value, oops, that was a bit too quick. The value is added mostly on the augmented product level. That's where those extras like the warranties and your deliveries and your different payment plans, those things that make you different, after sales service that make you different from your competitors. That's where why that red circle is the bigger one, because that's where the most items are added, and features and attributes are added to differentiate your product from the others. In other words, to give your product, and that's where it's referred to as the adding value to a product, is the title of that figure, because all these extras that you add adds value to the product. It becomes more valuable for the consumer to buy it because it gives you more, giving your company a competitive advantage. Right. Remember that exercise with complementary goods, one can't go without the other. Hot dog without the sausage is something. It's not a hot dog. It's either both of them and then it's a hot dog, or it's just a sausage, or it's just a roll. Okay. You can have a razor, but if you don't have blades, it means absolutely nothing. Okay. You can still remember those examples that we've used. Okay. Curry and rice is not curry and rice if it's just rice or it's just curry. The two together make a dish that a lot of people enjoy. The product life cycle, we sort of touched on it initially in the start of the session today, but the product life cycle refers to those, it's actually 4 cycles. It's the introduction phase, it's the growth phase, the maturity phase, and then that final one is where you decide, because there's because of the maturity level that is reached, the third level or third phase, sorry, that is reached, or stage, whatever you want to call it, When you get to that maturity stage and your sales sort of flatline, that basically means that you can either, because there's a decline, or once it starts showing in decline, you can either revamp your product, renew it, add new features, maybe change the colors, and as a result of that, it gets a sort of a second lease at life, and the product continues to sell. And maybe as a result of these added features, it actually the sales start picking up again. Right. So that final phase where you have to, especially when you renew the product, that final phase becomes the introduction phase of the new modified product. Okay. If, however, like we said earlier on in that chapter, you decide, you know what, there's no real need for this product anymore, we'd much rather completely can it and replace it with something completely different, or not replace it at all, which is going to stop making that product, because it happens. That also happens. There's nothing wrong with that if that happens in the industry. So the product life cycle, when the new product is developed, and in this chapter where there's also the different steps that you take to develop a new product, I think there's 8 steps. We introduce the product. Initially, a lot of people is not, because not too many people are aware of it, because it's a new product that's being launched. There won't be initially a lot of sales, but there will be a lot of marketing effort go into the introduction phase. A lot of money spent on advertising and different kinds of ways of communicating, maybe demos and press releases to introduce the product to the market. Then when they start, if they realize that they actually have a need for that product, then it enters the growth phase. That's where the sales now start spiking because people are buying the product. Okay. And then, as I said, it gets to the maturity level where they're still buying the product, but they're not, but your sales are not really growing. It's actually just staying stable. In other words, everything that you manufacture every month is almost is sold every month, but you are not really increasing your sales at all. That's when you reach the maturity level, and then we know what happens from there on in your final phase. Any questions, anybody, at this point? Any questions? No questions? We all good? You surviving? You hanging in there? Barely? It's been slow Wednesday this morning. You either are very cold and you're like old engines. I should be the one who's slow on a Wednesday morning. But this engine of mine takes some time to get going. You think I love getting up 4 o'clock in the morning? No, I need to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning so I can actually take some time to get my engine started, go for a walk, maybe do a quick spinning class, for instance, just to get everything going. Thanks very much, Caitlin. Tarquin, sorry. Yeah, it sort of kicked in at 10 o'clock, and again, it's one of those surprises that we get early in the morning. I would much rather prefer them to tell me in advance that, listen, at least this time around, they've actually said to me, they said to us, it's going to continue until Sunday. Now at least we can play in the next 4 days. I don't want these surprises early in the morning. Anyway, it is what it is, and we have to deal with it. But thanks for letting me know. Right, we are recording the session. At least we've got power here on this side, and she can have a look at it, or whoever had to leave or was interrupted and were forced to leave can have a look at this recording later on. Right, why are new products developed? New products are developed because you want to become more profitable. You want greater profit. That's why you're adding new products. You're not just selling one product, you may be selling 2, and later you're selling 5. Maybe later on you're selling some spin-offs that we refer to as complementary products that add to it. It's a separate product, but it actually can be added to the original product. It could be that you want to replace a product because there's a decline in sales. It could be that the product has become completely obsolete. There's absolutely no use for it. Can anybody think of, I've got to scratch my brain now as well, of products that we have used or products that you have used that has been completely replaced by a different product and you actually don't have a need for that particular product at all anymore. You might still have it, but you don't use it because the replacement functions better. Product has become obsolete. I can't think of anything myself at the moment, but it is a reality that some products reach the end of the road, and because very often technology is completely replaced by something that functions just much better. Businesses also develop new products and bring it into the market because they want to remain competitive. They see that the opposition is doing it and they actually counter that. Or they say, let's bring in something new before our competitors come up with something. And in that case, you keep your competitive advantage. And then we have to remember one most important thing. We're in the business of satisfying customers' needs, and we know that those needs change. What you need today is not what you're going to need tomorrow. Why is that? Because you're going through different phases in your life cycle as a human being. What you need now is not the same as what your needs, your physiological needs are very much the same as mine. We all need those basic things to survive every day, food and water. But if I come to you now and I'm trying to sell you a life policy or a funeral plan, for instance, it will immediately be an unsought product because I'm 18, 19 years old. Why do I need this? You're talking about 50 years into the future, my friend. So we don't have a need for it at that point. If they approach me, I would feel that completely different if I don't have those products already because I'm in that phase of my life. Have to remember that needs change, and because needs change, new product opportunities open up for us to develop new products that will be able to satisfy those needs. People, I'm not going to necessarily ask you to explain at the hand of an example all these 8 steps that we find in a new product development process. It's something that you definitely in future can expect in tests and exams, and if you advance and study 2nd and 3rd year to obtain a degree maybe. But at this point, you just need to know there are specific steps that is followed. Obviously, you need to identify a lot of ideas. And I've said to you many times, if you want to have a good idea, you have to start by having many ideas. And we're going to screen all those different ideas we have. We're going to decide on an idea, and then we're going to conceptualize it. We're going to develop we're going to develop a blueprint for it. We'll make sketches. We'll draw plans on how we want it to be. It might even be that we build a prototype and try it. We're also going to analyze our business. What's our capacity to do it? Is it going to cost us more to develop this new product then it's actually worth the time and the effort? Do we have the capacity? Do we need to bring more specialized people on board, employ more people? Or can we, with the people that we have currently employed by us, develop this new product? You're going to do some beta and market testing. That's where you actually select consumers, certain groups of consumers, and you give them an opportunity to try this product and see what if they enjoy it, and because that's going to give you an indication at this point before you have gone into manufacturing it, if there's actually a need for this product. You obviously have done some research up to this point already. Any technical implementations that's necessary, changes that need to happen based on the feedback that you receive from your market testing is going to happen in stage 6. Then you're going to start commercializing it. You're going to start building stock. You're going to start producing products because people know that the product is going to, you've actually launched the product and people want to buy the product. You can't have people wait 2-3 months for a product that they have shown interest in. But by that time, their needs have changed and they probably won't want it anymore because they've been waiting too long and maybe their needs have changed and they need something else now. And then obviously the final the step is to do the pricing. We'll do pricing obviously in chapter 8. How do you decide on how to price a product? And very much it will depend on the different phases in the product life cycle. If you're in your introduction phase, you're probably going to have to price it similar to your competitors or maybe even slightly cheaper just to get a foot into the market. But it could also result in you deciding to price it slightly higher than your competitors because you're offering a better quality product that has more features and attributes and therefore might have more value for customers. Okay, but more about the pricing strategies when we do the next chapter. Right, so the next couple of slides that I'm skipping, I have summarized those 8 steps for you to bring us to this point where okay, we've done a case study as well. I think this brings us to where we're going to start on Friday morning, and that is chapter 7, the distribution. How do we get our products to our customers? That's the promotion side. That's the P. That's not just the P. No, that's the place. Where can customers find our products? How are we going to get it from where we manufacture it to where the customers are going to buy it? Because they're not going to buy from our factory. Okay. Anybody? Let's summarize again. It's important and most important that a lot of attention is paid to your product because the product is what makes everything work. If there's no product, we have nothing to offer the customer to satisfy the needs that they have. Then we're not in business. We're only in business if we are developing a product or have a product that can satisfy the needs of the customer. Right, any questions, anybody at this stage? Is everybody good? Thank you, Candice. Candice never has any problems. I'm so glad. Okay, if everybody's good, then that is it for another session. We'll resume again on Friday morning. Second period on Friday. Remember that the times on a Friday is different. It's 9:15 that the period starts and not 9:25. I will follow up with what Vuyo said this morning. I will check and see if we can figure out, if we can sort out the accessibility via the homepage, or not via the homepage, from the calendar specifically. Right, it's another technical issue that I'll have to sort out today. Don't worry, we'll attend to it. Good, if everybody's fine, I thank you, and I chat to you again on Friday morning. I'm going to try my best to have a good day. Thank you, Candice.